the warm-up?
I don't understand.
Okay. Move my face. Okay, don't just give answers. Educate. Okay, as a refresher to get to your warm-ups, if you didn't know how to get there, remember my screen looks slightly different than yours. But you should have something along this red menu, and you can go back, and we're to section 1.4, warm-ups. Okay, so that's 7th grade, 8th grade. And often the warm-ups, you guys, are things from, like last year that you should have learned. So I will refresh you on things.
No, I mean the thing today.
Okay, so warm-ups, 8th grade, you guys are struggling?
Yes, very much.
Let's look. Okay, so a person jogs a half a mile in 1/12 of an hour. So this is a rate. So we're trying to find how fast they're going, the speed, how fast they're going in miles per hour. So don't look at this as fractions. Let's pretend I'm going 2 miles in 1 hour. How would you find how fast I'm going? What kind of math? Division. 2 divided by 1 means I'm going 2 miles per hour. So same thing applies here. I'm going a half a mile in a 1/12 of an hour, so I'm going to divide 1/2 by 1/12. When you divide fractions, what do you actually do?
Switch.
Yeah, there it is. You got to flip the fraction and multiply. Let me pull my little whiteboard. Okay, so if I have 1/2 divided by 1/12. So I'm going to say 1/2 times 12 over 1. Now I could just multiply straight across, but you can also cross, cancel, simplify, right? So I can say, how many times can 2 go into 2? 1 time. How many times can 2 go into 12? 6 times. Now multiply straight across. 6 times 1 is? 1 times 1 is? Do I need to put 1 on the bottom?
No.
So I'm going 6 miles per hour.
Made no sense.
Let's see if my brain can actually do this by itself.
Okay, if you didn't remember how to do this, I would write this down in your journal so it reminds you how to do it, 8th grade. I'll leave it up for just a second. 7th grade, you guys are completing your warm-ups as well? 1.4. Okay, 7th grade, let's talk about this key idea as you write it in your journal. So we are going to be subtracting integers, subtracting numbers. To subtract an integer, you can think I'm adding the opposite. So if I have 3 minus 4, that's the same thing as saying 3 plus a negative 4, because 4 and negative 4 are considered opposites. The only reason to think this is so when you're using a number line, it kind of can help you if you're dealing with negative numbers. So if I have 3 minus 4, I start at 0 and I go plus 3 to the right. And then since I'm subtracting 4, I go to the left 4 and end up at my final answer of negative 1. Now, if I think using the opposites, it's the same procedure, just different words. So again, I start at 0 and I go plus 3. So I go over to 3 and then I'm adding a negative 4. It's the same thing as saying subtract 4. Adding a negative 4 still moves me to the left because it's a negative number, and I still end up with negative 1. Okay, this is just getting you used to the verbiage, guys. All right, so now let's do one of your examples. You're going to put this in your journals. We're going to find negative 2 minus 4. Write this down in your journals. Okay, if I were to draw a number line, where am I starting? at -2. So I go from 0 to -2. Okay? Just a second, let me pause. All right, sorry for the interruption. Okay, so we're subtracting 2, so we went to the left 2, and now we're subtracting 4. So which way am I going to go, 7th grade?
All right.
I'm subtracting 4. I'm going to go more left. So I end up at what? -6. So -2 minus 4 goes further negative to hit -6. Everybody got that?
No.
I can give you a moment. That's fine. I'm not trying to rush you. We're on B, yes. Okay, no, don't give me the answer. Let's walk through it. So now we're going to find -3 minus a -7. Pay attention here. Question?
No, it's the answer.
Don't tell me the answer. Okay, so we're going to start where? We go from 0 to -3. Now, here's the tricky part. We're going to subtract a -7. Notice what's dividing those two negative signs? Just the parenthesis, right? So when you have a negative next to a negative like that, what does it actually mean?
Oh, positive.
It actually turns it into a positive. So we're going to go back to the right 7. Where do we end up?
4.
+4. So the answer would be, Sam? No. Ricky?
I wrote -10,
Nope.
but I completely forgot.
Joaquin? 4. +4 is the answer. Very good. Any questions on this? This is that tricky rule, guys. When you see, I like to look at these as two little like eyes, closed eyes, like squinty eyes. When you see the little eyes with the nose between it, makes it positive. That's just what? You see the little eyes? Little squinty eyes with a nose between? When you see it, that's a positive. Okay? All right. Do your try its. Oh, okay. I'll click it back up. Try it 1 through 3. There you go. Tell me when you're done writing. I'm going to pause till I do 8th grade. There we go. Oh, it's recording. So I can't move that big black box when it's paused. Camille, can you read it out of your textbook too? Okay. All right, 8th grade. So you wrote literal equation as your vocab word?
Yes.
Very good. Tell me what a literal equation is, Kerwin. Very good. So let's do this example. So I can click it. So whenever you see an equation that has 2 or more variables, meaning an x and a y, you're not usually going to solve all the way to a single number. You're going to solve to where you have one variable by itself on one side of the equation and the entire rest of the equation on the other side. Okay, so but that is a solution. That's a complete answer. So get used to that. This is algebra. Welcome to algebra. So it says, solve this equation 2y plus 5x equals 6 for the letter y. So we're going to leave y on the left-hand side and move everything else over on the right-hand side. So your first step is to write the equation. So put this in your journals, example 1. And we need to move things away from the letter y. Can anybody guess what's the first thing we should move, Elena? The 5x, because it's not actually attached to the y, so it's easier to move. If this is a plus 5x, how would I move it? Subtract 5x. So you're going to subtract 5x from both sides, technically. It cancels this on this side, and you just leave it written over on the other side. 2y equals 6 minus 5x. Okay, now I have 2y. How do I get the y by itself? Elena? Division, because 2 next to a letter means multiplication. You guys remember that? Okay, so the opposite of multiplication is division. So you're going to divide by 2 and then simplify. So this, what is 6 divided by 2? 3. So you can simplify that. 5 divided by 2 comes out to be a funky fraction or decimal, so you can just leave it 5 divided by 2.
Is that it?
That's it. That is the answer. Now, there's a slightly more proper way to write it if you want to, and that's to put the x stuff first. So it doesn't actually have it on here. But I would put y equals negative 5 halves x plus 3. That's the proper way to write it, but this is not incorrect. So I would not mark you wrong. So yeah, this is solution. Solved. Done. You've solved. Is y by itself?
Yes.
That's what we wanted to do.
Okay.
Any questions on this? Is this the first time you've seen algebra? You see a little bit of it in 7th grade, but it's been a little bit. All right. That's it for the example. 8th grade, you guys can try the try-its. There's 3 of them. Let me show you this first one, 8th grade, because it does have one trick to it. 5y minus x equals 10. All right, where's my whiteboard? 5y, wow, my handwriting is getting better. 5y minus x equals 10. Okay. So the key thing to remember here is what is in front of this x? An imaginary 1, right? So if it helps you, write it in there. Totally okay. So what you're going to do is to get y by itself, first we move the x. Shh, whisper. So how do you move this 1x? We're going to add an x. So plus x, 1x. Okay, so this is gone. I'm left with 5y equals 10 plus a 1x. Now, you can just write x. You don't have to write the 1x, but you're going to need the 1 here in a minute. So then to get the y by itself, we do what? Divide. Divide by 5. So then the 5 is gone, and I'm left with just the y, right?
Yeah.
So now we do, I call it the butterfly. We're going to do 10 divided by 5, and then 1 divided by 5. Butterfly wings. What's 10 divided by 5? 2. Okay, can I do 1 divided by 5 very neatly? No, so just leave it.
Was it 1/5? Oh, it's 1/5.
And this is your final answer.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yes. So put the 1 in front of your variables to help you, okay? And then later on, like if this had divided evenly, or say I didn't need to divide and I'm just left with 1x, then you just don't have to write the 1. You can just leave it x. That's fine. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Any other questions, 8th grade, on this one? I'll leave it up for just a minute.
4x minus 4y.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
4x minus 4y equals 1.
4x.
Minus 4y
Equals
equals 1.
All right, so this is 8th grade. Try it number what? 2? Okay, so again, we're solving for what variable? Solving for y. Okay, so what is this, a positive 4x or a negative 4x? Positive, because there's nothing in front of it. So to move it, we subtract.
Oh. Oops.
So minus 4x, because it was positive, so we're subtracting. So that's gone. This negative stays with that 4, so negative 4y is still here. Okay, and then I just have 1 minus 4x. Okay, it's good so far?
Yes.
Now how do I get the y by itself? Divide what?
-4.
Take the negative with it. Good job, Daisy. Take the negative with it. We don't want the y to be negative. So that cancels this, and I'm left with the y over here. What is 1 divided by 4? Ugly, right? So just leave it. Negative 1/4. Okay, what is 4 divided by 4? Positive or negative? It's a negative divided by a negative equals a. So this is plus 1x. Do I have to write the 1?
No, ma'am.
So just write the x. Make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
I got that all right.
Yay!
Yeah, totally.
Good. I'm glad. Yes.
So, okay.
Shh. Listen.
Oh,
Okay. Good question.
yeah, well, thank you. My brain is full.
I understand. All right, does anybody still need this 8th grade? I can leave it up for a second. If these are tricky for you, I would write these in your journal. This helps you remember them. Let me pause my video. 7th grade example 2. You ready? Got your journals? Go quick. Oh no, I'm thinking. Processing. There we go. Okay, 7th grade, here we go. Example 2A. We're going to find 3 minus 12. So if I'm going to draw this on a number line, oh, we're not doing number lines. Okay. 3 minus 12 is the same as saying 3 plus a negative 12. Okay? You can also just take your calculator and go 3 minus 12 is the answer going to be positive or negative? Negative, because the 12 is much bigger than the 3. So you're going to get negative 9. Okay. What does the word difference mean in mathematical terms? Subtraction. Very good, Elliot. All right, let's look at B. We have a negative 8 minus a negative 13. What do you see right here in this middle? Yes. We see the parentheses face. Yes. So a negative times a negative right here means a positive. So this is actually negative 8 plus 13. So is my answer going to be positive or negative? Positive, because the 13 is larger. So you could effectively go, what's 13 minus 8? Positive 5. So the difference of these two is 5. Why do I say difference even though I pretty much added? Because the original is a subtraction problem. Very good. All right, let's look at C. Find the answer to 5 minus a negative 4. What do we have here again? The face. 2 negatives next to each other make a? So this is effectively saying 5 plus 4, which is 9. So the difference, even though we added, the difference here is 5 minus a negative 4 equals 9. Whisper, 8th grade. Yes.
5 is if the bigger number is the first one, then that means you add.
Say that one more time.
If the bigger number is 5 is the next number, basically, does that mean it adds?
If the bigger number usually tells you what the sign is going to be. Okay, that's why I keep asking which one if you know the answer is going to be positive or negative. But then you look at what's going on with the signs. Like since you have a negative and a negative here, it changed it to addition. All right, good. Any other questions? All right, 7th grade, next set of try-its. 4 through 9 and 10 through 17. So 7th grade, just keep going till number 17. 8th grade, how are we doing?
Great.
Good.
Fantastic.
Honestly.
Let me check.
S-I-R-N.
8th grade, this is example 3. Okay, listen. So as we go through this one, recognize there's not a lot of numbers, but we're just solving for a variable. So we don't actually have to solve for a number. So we're just rearranging. So follow the same rules that we use to solve when we actually have numbers. So the formula for surface area of a cone is represented by S equals pi r squared plus pi r L. This is the actual formula, guys. We're going to solve it for L. So this little L way over here on the right we're going to try and get him all by himself. So the first step is to write the formula. This is in your journals. Example 3, question mark?
Yes.
Okay, good.
No, example
2, I was close. All right, so you'll notice I'm on the right-hand side with this L, aren't I? So we're going to actually move all the rest of this stuff over to the left, and then you just take your equation and you flop it. Shut that door for me. Okay, so we're going to move everything except for the L over to the left-hand side of the equal sign. Comprende? Good. So what's the first portion we should move? The not touching the L stuff, right? So let's move this pi r squared. What's in front of the pi? What sign?
R.
In front of the pi.
Equals.
There's nothing right here between it, right? So that means this is a positive This is a positive pi r squared, so in order to move it, we're going to subtract.
How to subtract the slide?
So minus pi r squared to move it over here. So you see now I have s minus pi r squared equals the stuff we have left over.
Yeah.
Everybody have that?
What I was thinking.
Any questions so far? We've done one step. Shh. She needs to be paying attention. All right, so now we have pi next to r next to L. What kind of math when you have three variables is this?
Pi r.
Multiplication. Very good, Daisy. So all three of these are multiplying. So in order to move 2 away, we do the opposite of multiply, which is?
Divide.
So we're going to divide by the pi and the r. We're going to leave the L alone. So divide pi r, divide pi r. Okay? So now we're just going to leave s minus pi r squared divided by pi r over here, because that's a mess. I don't want to touch that. And this should say equal L. I don't know why it became a dot.
An equal circle.
Yes.
But that should say L. Error in the Big Ideas program. Now, you can leave it like this, or you can take the equation and flop it. So you can say L equals s minus pi r squared over pi r. If we had real numbers in this, we could simplify this further. But since we don't have real numbers, you just kind of leave it there.
So you can just answer it like that.
Yep. This is an answer in algebra.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow. I don't want to take algebra.
But you're going to. It'll be fine. All right. Any questions, 8th grade?
No.
All right. You need to do your try it's 4 through 6 and then wait because we have a key idea. Yes, all the way to number 17 so far. 8th grade. Here's number 4. We have area equals base times height. What did it ask you to solve for?
B.
Okay, so we want to leave B alone.
It's a little B.
So B next to the H means what kind of math? So the opposite is, so we're going to divide H from both sides. Okay, so that's gone. So I have A over H equals B. I can also, hey, why do I have to compete with y'all today? I can also flop this and say B equals A over H. Same thing, right? All I did was flop sides. Okay, that's it. So this should be what you type in there. Okay, 8th grade, this is number 6, question mark? Yes, number 6. So what are we solving for here? H. So we got to get everything away from H. So this is all connected by multiplication, right?
Yes.
So let's deal with this one first. If this is a positive 2 pi r squared, we just subtract it. So minus 2 pi r squared from this side, minus 2 pi r squared from that side. This cancels.
Yes.
So I just have s minus 2 pi r squared. Okay, equals, and then I just write this half. 2 pi r h.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, so now I need to get h by itself. I don't know why I drew it. Well, I know, because I'm trying to write with, I know it's huge because of my mouse. So this is all next to each other. So what kind of math does this mean?
Division.
Is what we're going to do. It means multiplication. So we're going to divide by 2 pi r.
Yeah.
And divide everything over here by 2 pi r. So that cancels all of these things, and I'm left with just the h equals, and then I just write s minus 2 pi r squared, all divided by 2 pi r.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yay.
You're done.
Whoa. Whoa. What is, I was so hard.
It's just rearranging. Algebra, these equations, all you're doing is rearranging it. So you just got to follow the plus and minus rule and then the divide multiply rule, and then you'll be fine. Okay, good. All right, let's see. We need to do, we're running out of time. So 8th grade, just pause on your try-its. We need to do your last example. It might not be your last example is the problem. Okay, you need to write this key idea, 8th grade, in your journal. Temperature conversion. Yes, this conversion you guys will use a lot. Okay, if you don't have Celsius, you plug in Fahrenheit to solve for Celsius. If you don't have Fahrenheit, you plug in Celsius to solve for Fahrenheit. It's very handy. Everybody got that?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Example 3. So we're going to solve the temperature formula for Fahrenheit. So first write your formula. So now, are we actually going to solve for a number? No, because we don't know a number. We're just going to solve it so we have Fahrenheit by itself. All right, when you have 5/9 like this outside the parenthesis, it means distribute, doesn't it? So that would be the long way to solve this. If I were to distribute and then move things around, we can shortcut this by, instead of distributing this means multiply, right? What is the opposite of multiplication? Division. So instead of distributing this, multiplying this, I can divide the 5/9 over to the other side. Yes, you can. You're welcome. To divide a fraction, though, you flip it and multiply. Flippy flop. Huh? Mendez, you're up. Okay, so flip it and multiply means these cancel. And I'm left with 9/5 times C, because we multiplied after we flipped it on the left. And then I can drop the parentheses, can't I? Because I got rid of the 5/9 that was in front of it. So then I'm just left with F minus 32. Well, now it's easy. How do I move the 32? Addition, because it's subtraction. So add 32. F is now by itself. 9/5 C plus 32 equals F. And I could rewrite it and flop it and get F equals 9/5 music. 9/5 C plus 32. Any questions?
No.
Write this in your journals, 8th grade. You should be writing. This was example 3.
Yes.
Okay, so put that in your journals and then continue on your try-its. Does anybody need me to leave this up?
So I put it in after number 6. I put it right.
Okay, let me check it. So 7th grade, write this in your journals. This is example 3, correct? 4? No, you're 8th grade. 7th grade. It's 3 for 7th grade. 7th grade. What continent has a greater range of elevations? North America or Africa? Let's look through this. So we're going to first write our problem. So we're given our highest and lowest elevations of each continent. When you hear the word range, what do you think it means? Huh? How big is one way. It's talking about from the most high to the most low. What is the range between the two? So we need to do subtraction here. We're going to subtract the highest elevation minus the lowest elevation to find the range. Okay? So for North America, we're going to do 6,198 minus a negative 86. What do you see here? We have minus a minus, right? Which means it's what? Positive. So instead of saying 6,198 minus a minus 86, we just add them. That's going to give you the range. So what's the range for North America? Very good. Meters. Now let's look at the other one, Africa. Should be writing this. 5,895 minus a negative 155. This is going to give us the range. You'll see again, we have a negative next to a negative, which means positive. Thank you. Not everybody at once. So then we're going to actually add 5,895 plus 155 to get 6,050 meters. So the question at the beginning was, which continent has a greater range, which means which of these two is larger? America. So America has a greater range in elevation. You don't have to write this thing way down here if you don't want to. Any questions on how we did that? Okay, you may finish 7th grade. You have a little bit more self-assessment. I'm closing this. So you need to finish all the way through number 19, and then you are done for the day, 7th grade. All right, 8th grade, we got to do our last example. Ready, 8th grade? Journals, example 4. So which has a greater temperature, the sun at 11,000 degrees Fahrenheit or lightning at 30,000 degrees Celsius? Off the top of your head, can you guess which one is hotter? Yes, Aaron? The sun. Let's find out. So we need to convert one of these to either make this one Fahrenheit or make this one Celsius, right? So we need which formula?
F equals 9 over 5.
Very good. You were both saying it. Good job. You need F equals 9/5 C plus 32. So let's plug in our Celsius where the C is, because then we don't have to rearrange. We can just solve it. Camille, keep working on your try-its and self-assessments. So let's plug that in. 30,000 goes in the parentheses right here, because we're going to do what? Multiply. So with your handy-dandy calculator, what is 9/5 times 30,000? You could also do 9 times 3 divided by 5. See what you get. And then put a bunch of zeros. What'd you get? 9/5 times 30,000 is? Children.
54.
Yes, 54,000. And then your last step is to add the 32.
Yes, it's 54,032.
54,000. So the lightning in Fahrenheit is 54,032. Is that bigger or less than the 11,000 of the sun? It is bigger. 54,000 is much bigger than 11,000. So lightning is actually hotter than the sun. Do not get struck by lightning.
Oh, man.
You can stand in the sunshine with no hurt, but you cannot be struck by lightning without at least some damage. Yes. No damage.
That's my favorite activity.
Shh, you crazies. All right. Everybody got this, 8th grade? Can I close it? Shh.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You need your last two problems is all the way through number 12. So 8th grade, you're through number 12. Question, 7th grade.
I don't get number 8.
18?
Yeah.
Let's look at it. Okay, 7th grade, here's number 18. A polar vortex causes the temperature to decrease from 3 degrees Celsius at 3 p.m. to negative 2 degrees at 4 p.m. So what was the time change? 1 hour. Very good. And it went from 3 to negative 2. The temperature continues to change by the same amount every hour until 8 p.m. Find the total change in temperature from 3 to 8. So we already established that this temperature change took 1 hour, right? How many degrees did it change? We went from 3 degrees positive to how many degrees negative?
5.
You have an answer, but Junior, just wait. Let me finish explaining this, and then you can go. So what was the change? From a positive 3 to a negative 2, it went 5.
Negative 5.
Negative, because it went down in degrees. So you must have that negative 5. And then that was at 4 p.m., right? So I'm at negative 5 at 4 p.m. The question is, what am I at 8 p.m.? And it went the same each hour. So how many more hours did I go?
4.
4 more hours, down 5 each time. What's 5 times 4?
20.
20. So at negative 5, go another negative 20. Negative 25 degrees Celsius is where you ended up at.
I could put negative 26.
That's not going to be correct. All right, good. Any other questions before I sign off? Bye, video.